Cheap land in Bell County, Texas isn't easy to come by, and neither are zoning and permits without clear understanding of the rules. You could be looking at delays, fines, or worse, scrapping the whole project. In this video, I'm going to break down the essentials of zoning and permits here in Bell County so you can avoid the pitfalls and set your project up for success. I'll even share a few insider tips I've picked up along the way. Now that you've heard my hook, let's hop into it. We're going to start with zoning. In Bell County, the rules really depend on where your land is located. If your property is inside the city limits like Belton or Temple, zoning could be pretty strict. They'll already have regulations for residential, commercial, or industrial use, and you'll need to follow those closely because the city has made plans for future growth of those two towns. And if your land is in what's called an ETJ or extraterritorial jurisdiction, you'll get a little more flexibility there, but cities still have limited authority over things like road layouts or utility connections. And if your land is in if your land is in the county, that's where things open up a bit. Bell County doesn't impose formal zoning in those areas, which means you have more options. That being said, you'll still need to comply with county rules for things like drainage, flood zones, and road access. But before you make any big decisions, call the city and county offices and confirm the zoning. You can even request a zoning verification letter to make sure there are no surprises down the road. Get that shit in writing. Even if zoning checks out, you're still going to need permits to get your project off the ground. If you're dividing your land into smaller parcels, you'll need approval for a subdivision plat. The county will check your plans to make sure everything is in order, like the road access, utility easements, and drainage. Flood zones are another big one in Bell County. If your land falls within the FEMA designated floodplain, you're going to need permits before you can start any construction. Trust me, you don't want to skip this step. It's better to deal with it now than face fines or issues later. And trust me, you will not like the monthly insurance payment for a floodplain. And of course, there are utility permits. If you're adding water, sewer, or electricity to your property, you'll need to coordinate with local authorities to get those approved. This can take time, so it's always a good idea to start early. And whenever I say it could take time, it could take a long time. They move very slow. Now, there are a few common challenges I see people run into when developing land in Bell County, and most of them come down to preparation. If your property isn't zoned for what you want to build, you'll need to go through a rezoning process. This means submitting an application, attending public hearings, and getting approval from local authorities. It takes time, a lot of time, so don't wait until the last minute to start that process. Make sure you have a checklist in place, and deadlines in place so that you get that off the ground. And another challenge is confusion around ETJs. A lot of people think they're completely unregulated because they're outside of city limits, but that's not the case. Cities still have control over certain things, so always double check with the city's planning office. You can go to the county's engineering office. He or she will point you in the right direction. Flood zones are another area where people get tripped up. Bell County has plenty of FEMA designated floodplains, and ignoring those regulations can lead to major setbacks. Before you buy or develop, always check the FEMA floodplain. FEMA has mapped to see if your land is in high-risk area, and I'm telling you, you don't want insurance to eat into your expenses. With having flood insurance is a costly one. So zoning and permits aren't as exciting as acting like a hound dog when you're first trying to hunt for the land to develop, but they're definitely some of the most important. Whether you're working in the city limits or an ETJ, or out in the county, taking the time to understand the rules up front can save you tons of time, headaches, and give you actionable steps to reach the end goal. So again, I'm TrentBabb, your Central Texas real estate agent. If you've got any questions about this, zoning permits, or land development here in Bell County, drop them in the comments. I'd love to help or hear your stories. And hey, if you're ready to start your next project, reach out to me directly. My information is right here and in the description below. I'm always happy to help. And if you found value in this video, make sure to like, subscribe, turn on the notifications for more tips on land development and real estate in Central Texas, along with market updates to keep you updated. But thanks for watching. That's all for this video, and we'll see you on the next one.